Welcome to Pod Mavericks Presents Group Therapy. Doing this a little bit out of order today because of a daytime preseason game hosted in Abu Dhabi where the Dallas Mavericks fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves 111-99. My name is Kirk Henderson. You are joining me right now. It's about a little bit before 2:30 Central Time. For those who have been joining the show for some time, this is our kind of live reaction show. Normally, Josh Bowe and I do a podcast, which we will do later on tonight. But this is our fan, participation show. This is a place to come hang out, get off your takes, not only in the chat, but by clicking the link in the comments. If you're joining here live on YouTube, you can come up on the show with me. You don't have to have your video up, but it works on phones. It works on computers. We have been having fun in here since last April. Prior to that, we used to do these shows on Spotify Live and then Locker Room and Wayback. And they're a good time. At least I think they're a good time and a way to sort of process out your feelings. Now, group therapy feels a little harsh for a preseason game. But here we are, because that's the sort of, that's the state of basketball. We've been missing basketball, Mavericks basketball. This is the first real game that the senior team has played since, April? And I call it the senior team just in the sense of the Mavericks Summer League team played, and we did some of these. I'm really looking forward to people's overreactions, for an 11 o'clock game in the morning. Let's kind of talk through this. And in the meantime, if anybody wants to join, just go ahead and click that link. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking to myself for the duration of the show, which is not any fun. The starters were, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Grant Williams, Omax, and Derek Lively, which was something that, Jason Kidd kind of bounced around a week ago on Mark Stein's show where he said it could happen. Then during a media scrum last weekend, he said it would happen. And to be quite honest, I'm rather delighted that he followed through, because the one thing about Jason Kidd is that he doesn't really hold, things he says ultimately don't matter. And he knows it. And Rick Carlisle knew it, and all coaches know it. It was a really pretty fun game, all things considered. The Mavericks got walloped early, but that was, kind of is what it is. Omax and Derek Lively looked like rookies, which is just fine. Lively in particular picked up 4 fouls in about 12 minutes, but I didn't see anything in his game that concerned me, because I don't think he was doing anything stupid. He was not woefully out of position. He was big boyed a few times, but that's fine. You're playing against, two of the better big men in the NBA, and Rudy Gobert and then Karl Anthony Towns. This is quite an introduction to the league. So, watching what he did was interesting. And, as the season wears on, the standard will go up for what we kind of hope and expect from him. But I certainly had no problem with how he played. One thing I was particularly confused about is why on earth it took until the end of the first quarter to run Lively and Luka pick and rolls. All of us, who knew? Luka can get to the rim and Lively can dunk the bejesus out of the basketball. Not a particularly complicated concept, but the Mavericks just didn't do it. I don't understand. The team as a whole missed 14 their first 14 threes, which was an element of why they got waxed early on. They also couldn't guard, and they had a little bit of a hard time rebounding again with the aforementioned two Minnesota bigs. So that was a little bit of a problem. But as the first quarter wound down, the Mavericks found a little bit of offense.
The second quarter was a little bit better. The Grant Williams, who, he did it was a really almost remarkable Dorian Finney-Smith impression. 16 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 7 on shooting, but all of those shots were 3-point shots. Pair of defensive rebounds and 1 assist, also a block and a turnover. But his 2 threes came on back-to-back plays, which, he's going to get these looks, and I feel confident that he's going to knock them down at some point. We got Chris waiting here to talk, so I'm going to pull him up in just a second after I kind of finish going over the bigger picture point of the game. The second quarter and then the third quarter, we saw a lot of Jaden Hardy and Josh Green, and they were remarkably fun together, to the point to where I found myself questioning where Tim Hardaway plays. That's my level of overreaction. The fourth quarter was a little bit, kind of a bench clearing. We got to see Jordan Jelly Walker get up some buckets, and I had a real nice pass. We had a guy that I forgot was on the team. The Weiskamp guy hit a 3 in his 1 attempt. Rashawn Holmes played a little bit, and I don't think Rashawn Holmes is going to play, but I hope he does. I just hope he does. I liked watching Holmes play. But overall, we'll get another chance at this on Saturday morning. Hopefully, the starters will come a little more alive. Kyrie Irving had kind of a disappointing 1 of 6, -22 in just 14 minutes, but all the starters looked terrible, all of them. To a certain degree, even Luka looked terrible until he finally found his shot. Anyways, all right, coming up first, we're going to bring up Chris. Chris, how are you? Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the show.
Hello. I am at work in the back warehouse here.
Yes. That's what I'm talking. I'm at work too. I have my phone open and I'm waiting for my boss to call me at any moment. That's the best part of these.
Yeah. I was able to get the TV on at work here and kind of watch the game a little bit, and then I was watching it on my phone some. But at halftime,
dedication.
I just gave up at halftime though, so I actually didn't watch any of the second half. Went on my lunch break and ended up taking a nap in the car. So
that's a good use of time, because look, the only real thing we're going to get out of this is overreaction and maybe a little bit of a sense of community. People are already calling for Jason Kidd's head, which is just my favorite. Not because I necessarily disagree, but I'm just like, it's one game and they're not going to give anything away. But I still had fun watching them play, even though it was pretty ugly. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be the first one calling for J Kidd's head, and just like everybody else, I'm absolutely overreacting to this game. But that's part of the fun of it, right?
It is fun
to be able to overreact and be a little bit ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that the team didn't look ready, and it's not the first time that a J Kidd team has not looked ready or prepared. And I think it's a common theme with him and his staff, that the team is not ready when they should be ready. Now, I know they're trying some new guys out. I know we got to see what's up with the rookies. But I think it's just another example of J Kidd not being the guy. And some people are saying, hey, they had to travel 16 hours. They're traveling. Well, guess what? So did the Timberwolves. I'm pretty sure they had to fly over to
Damaris kept saying that. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Also, he kept calling them 3-way contracts, which was the funniest fucking thing. Like, they're why Brian Damaris on the Mavs broadcast, he kept saying 3 ways, and it just made me laugh every time. I'm like, why is that on your brain? It's a 2-way contract.
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, I missed the Brian Damaris 3-way talk.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I understand. I mean, it's the lack of preparation has been something that fired me up in a big way, both of the past 2 starts of the seasons. Because it's preseason, I'm going to forgive it. But it is something that has caused, we have 17 in the chat says it's the same patterns from last season, Kirk. I don't disagree. But I also don't want to spend too much time being mad about it, because I thought there were enough interesting things to where I sort of want to focus on what I liked more than I didn't, or what I hated. And then there were things that were, like Omax kind of looking like a deer in headlights was probably the thing that shocked me the most, because he was so fun in summer league. But it's the first one. They play 2 more of these kind of interesting preseason games, and Luka looked like Luka, which I think was nice. And beyond that, I don't have a ton of takeaways. Like, I somehow churned out 800 words for this game in a recap, but I don't really know what I said. I just kind of just kind of rambled on for a while.
Yeah, I think something that it reminded me of, and again, it's preseason. Let's not overreact too much, but Jay Kidd's very first regular season game, which would have been, I guess, 21-22 season.
Mm-hmm.
And they played the Atlanta Hawks on the road, and they got blown out, embarrassed by like 30. And that was the moment. So I've been on the ship Jay Kidd out of town, fire Jay Kidd since that game, because I'm like, look, I know sometimes you lose by 30, but that's in the regular season when you're doing back-to-backs and you're traveling. To have your first game of your new staff, your new system, you're in charge, to get blown out like that, it's just a lack of preparation. There's a lot of issues, I think, with the culture. And I think no matter how much I get excited about the young guys, this roster still has some huge gaps in it that are going to prevent this team from probably being in that top 4 conversation. I hope I'm wrong, but the eyeball test is telling me that the Mavs, Lively, Omax, they just are going to still have a long way to go. And I don't know that Lively's going to be ready October 25th to be a starting center in this league. I hope that he will get there, but I don't know that he's there right now.
Strong take. Really appreciate you joining the show and kicking us off, Chris. Now I got 7. Man. I got 7 people waiting. That's how you started the trend. This is what I'm here for.
Let's go.
All right,
Thank
man.
you so much,
man. Have a good rest of your day at work.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yep. Bye. Okay, let's go with my man Andreas, who probably wants to go to bed. He's over. Where you're in Germany?
Yes, I'm in Germany. So much
appreciated
to think of me in there. As a matter of fact, I've still been at work. I'm a little bit sick. I still managed to squeeze in some minutes, though, of this game. And
it's your Michael Jordan flu game, watching Dallas Mavericks preseason basketball.
It is a little, isn't it? So the couple of things, like Chris also, which were baffling me too a little bit. The enthusiasm wasn't there, really. That's the first thing I got. I mean, some guys want to carve out some minutes to carve out a position, maybe not with Mavs, but somewhere with a 2-way, not 3-way. That was funny. Somewhere, maybe not with Mavs, but whoever picks them up, right?
Right.
AJ Lawson and Dante Exum's offense looked awfully stale to me. Sure. He was looking, passing, what's going on? No dribbling, no nothing. Just waiting for something to happen at the free-throw line, 3-point line. So that was quite a reality shock or check. I think not only for myself, but hadn't how do you say, deer in the headlight in the ear, that sort of saying. They were all sort of big lights in the arena. I think not only the spectators were shocked, but also the players to some degree. And the others who could really play weren't really in it. Kyrie Irving, I think he's obviously a way better player. So that was a bit disappointing. In the same night where the Wagner brothers did 44 for Orlando. That's enthusiasm. That's what I want to see. That's preseason game doesn't matter. That's what I would like to see, really. I didn't really understand those lineups. I didn't see awful lot, but I didn't really get it. Maybe that was the tinkering preseason. Maybe that is it. But I really didn't understand it. Maybe I'm not smart enough to get it. Maybe you can make some more sense of it, or others who watched it.
Do you mean the starting lineups or the stuff you saw after the starting lineup?
After, I think the starting lineup with Omax is not a bad idea to see how things go. And I think Jason Kidd said that much, that he would like to give the rookies a try, and I don't find this to be such a horrible idea, really. To really see what they're made of, to give them idea what a bigger stage really means. But after that's many guards, then many forwards. I didn't really get it. Maybe there is some logic or magic behind it, maybe both. So this is what I got. One funny thing is Rudy Gobert not sweating at all, but having iced knees. Really? That was
no. I mean, a lot of that, and as a I'm now a runner, which is ridiculous because I am 6'3" and weigh 240 pounds. Icing your knees is fantastic after running. It's like it's maintenance recovery. And so you want to, because you only get one. I mean, I suppose you can get artificial knees, but basketball players don't have artificial knees. And so you only get those one set.
Okay, no, I get that. That's I take that back a little bit.
I get it though. No, it's always funny to watch when you're like, well, why is he doing that? He just ran up and down the floor twice and swatted a bunch of shots.
Yeah, that was funny to me at least. Well, so my enthusiasm is reduced to a certain degree after this reality kicked in after one game. I'm a little bit surprised about that, but I guess that's how it is.
I said like it was like the first quarter and the Mavericks were down 22-5. And I think I said nothing like a preseason basketball game to have me questioning everything. Like it's just awful. Like we're so excited and then it's 22-5 and it's like, what are we watching? This is awful. But I'm gonna tell myself it's just preseason. I'm going to tell myself, like, I'm giving the Mavericks 15 games, and I'm lying. I'm not even going to be able to give them 5. I'm going to try to give them 15 games before I become an asshole about the team.
Okay, we'll see about that. I will. Let's see who will be grumpier faster, you or me.
That's right. That's right. All right, I will let you go. Thank you so much, Andreas. We'll talk soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay. Let's see here. We have, all right. So before I bring up our next guest, I'm going to bring up one of our European guests next because I'm sure he'd like to go to sleep. Then we have Brian waiting patiently in the chat. Then we have somebody else with the delightful name of Butt Cheese, who is your device is not connected, so I cannot bring you up. So if you can reconcile that, I can bring you up on stage. It physically will not let me add you to the studio. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you could go ahead and head down into the, kind of near the comment section if you're watching on mobile. If you would like the stream, liking the stream is very helpful. If while you're down there, if you would consider subscribing to our show, if you are not a current subscriber, I try, and during the season, I will try to post these videos in advance to where you can hop into our YouTube channel, click the notify button, and it will notify you when you go live, as I mentioned at the start of the show. And as I do as a broken record, the subscription thing and notifications will let you know when Josh and I go up almost immediately after buzzer beating. He and I do between 20 and 25 minutes on the show or on the, on the game itself during regular season. Then I host one of these, and these sometimes are like late night drinking sessions where people just whine or celebrate until the middle of the night. We have fun. That's the point. It's supposed to be fun. And if it's not fun, at least you're celebrating, or at least you're talking and commiserating with like-minded folks. All right, coming up next is my man Hyperian, who is from Hungary.
Good evening from Hungary. Yes.
Yes, I got it right. Okay, good. I just couldn't. Sometimes I can't remember anything.
Oh,
so,
no,
how are you?
Problem. I'm doing good. It was a long summer. I was hoping for Mavs basketball. I'm seeing Luka Doncic again in Mavs uniform. I watched FIBA and watched all these sport podcasts around the American hemisphere.
That's right.
So I went to Twitter and saw, Luka scores 25 points in the first half. I see and I thought, this is gonna be a great game. And I see the score, and I was like, holy shit, what is happening again?
He was the fact that he had 25 points, I didn't even realize he had 25 points because the Mavericks are just kind of getting blown through to the rim. And I was so focused on the defense, and then all of a sudden you see there was like a really great, and I put it in the recap, the NBA account posted it, and I'm pretty sure there's a Twitter account called like Mavs Blog. Guy does a lot of clips during the game. Yeah, the Mavs Blog is a great Twitter follower. And he does he posts a lot of in-game clips, and it was a pick and roll, Luka going down the right of the key of the paint and throwing it like getting Rudy Gobert to freeze just enough, and then throwing a beautiful one-handed lob to Derek Lively that just brought the house down. It was great stuff.
Yeah, I looked at the box score, just love it. Like 2 and 3 years ago, Luka has 20 plus points. All the others 1, 2, 6.
Oh, it's been the same thing for 6 years. Like that was, it's painful. That's why whenever Kyrie joined, it was nice to see other people score, like him scoring.
Yeah, nobody shoot the basketball very good in this game.
Apparently,
So
they were missing badly in the warm-ups there's a couple of people, my friend Deshaun, who's there covering the game live. He flew in from India to cover the game, and he said they were missing everything in the warm-ups. So it wasn't entirely shocking when they just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn to start the game.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
What is your expectation for this Mavericks team? Your honest expectation?
My expectation is 7-8 play-in, like where they're in that range in the back end, and then the Mavericks make the play-in. My hope is 5 or 6 seed, and they really figure something out. I don't see the floor. Like last year, they had to tank to get to 38 games when everything was awful. So for me right now, I have a floor set at about 42 games. 42 and 40 on the year is where I think the floor is. The ceiling is difficult for me to predict because it so much relies on Lively and Omax being decent. Because if they're functional, you get more minutes for everybody, and then everything works down the line where it becomes a kind of a positive cascade where everybody's able to take advantage of the fact that you're not playing Dwight Powell 25 minutes, you're playing him 16. That sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. I sort of agree with you. I think the whole Mavs season is about how good and how fast can Lively and Prosper play, get better, and Josh Green and Hardy, how big of a step they are going to take. If Hardy and Josh Green plays like a good starter, then I think Mavs can be 6 seed, 5 seed, because the West is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were good tonight. Did you get to watch?
I read your recap, and you wrote that Hardy was good, so I believe you.
He did. He it was so funny watching him do the things effectively that he looked just terrible at in Summer League. He was only 4 of 10 from the floor, but there was a decisiveness to his game that was really nice. I think he got to the line a number of times. Yeah, he had 8 free throw attempts. Like, that's fantastic. I mean, he only hit half of them. That sucks. But getting to the line is awesome.
Yeah. So my only problem is, as a Mavs fan, I'm happy that they took another route. So they changed the roster. Mm-hmm. I'm not happy that Kidd is still there because I don't think Kidd is a good enough coach. As a Luka fan, I will be very frustrated, I think, because this is his 6th year.
Yep.
And I don't think the Mavs are good enough to win a playoff series.
It's
because they will be a 6th or a 7th seed or something like that, and they will play a much better team in the playoffs, in the first round of the playoffs, I think. And when I look around the NBA, Jason Tatum has a team again, which is just full of stars.
Always. Yeah.
Look, if Ja Morant can grow up, he has a great roster also around him. If Zion Williamson can stay healthy, he has a fantastic roster around him. And this, as a Luka fan, makes me very frustrated because they have so much better talent around them. And I feel for Luka because Slovenia is a great country. I love Slovenia, a very beautiful country. But he always plays with talent disadvantage in FIBA, in the NBA. And just once I want to see Luka with a better roster around him. But we will see. I hope that that Lively and Omax, which both are both likable players or persons, which I see in interviews. So I hope they will be good very fast. Yeah. And then we can, next year, that Dallas will be exciting to see, I think, if they show progress.
I understand that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, thank you for the content. Very good. Always like to read and watch you and Josh and everybody else. Mavs, CBA, shout out. Love it, what he writes. because I don't understand half of it, but I love to read it.
Hey, I'm glad. Hey, we appreciate you, and you have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, goodbye. All the best.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to bring up Brian, and then my man Glenn, I can see down there waiting, and then Leo. So thank you so much. Brian, what's up, guy?
Yo, my man, can you hear me?
I can. You sound good. Thanks for joining.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Yeah, that was a fun game. Look, man, I'm not here to be negative. It's preseason.
We got 80 games to be grumpy.
Yeah, dude. Preseason exists for one reason and one reason only, and that's to confirm biases.
Strong take.
That is the only reason it exists. All negativity does not exist. Only thing I saw was Jaden Hardy getting buckets and Josh Green getting benched personally.
Well, you know what I saw? I thought Rashawn Holmes looked cool.
Yeah, he looked good.
Like, not only did he look good, he looked fucking cool. Like, he's got the glasses.
Yeah, the specs.
He's got the headband and the armband. And I'm like, I never once looked cool playing basketball a day in my life. So it's like, when dudes look cool playing, I am extremely jealous. And he looks cool.
Yeah, he looks like he should be getting more minutes, but he also looks like he's going to be the guy. I think Dwight tweeted about this. He's going to be the guy that a lot of us are like irrationally yelling, why isn't he getting more minutes?
Because he hit a mid-range hook shot. I've not seen another Maverick do that since Eric Dampier.
Look, man, he's going to be good in the pick and roll for the 5 minutes a night that he plays.
Yep.
But we're going to be wondering why it's not 15, and everybody's going to be mad again. But, Jason Kidd, so is what it is. But
what else did you like besides Hardy then?
I thought Lively looked pretty good. He got hit with like a really, really, really bad like rookie whistle, which to be expected. He is a rookie. He shut the water off in the paint the first 6 minutes that he was playing. And then, he got like 2 fouls, I want to say. Maybe when he got his third, they took him out, or like at 6 minutes, they took him out. And
he's going to foul out a lot. And I think we're just all going to have to get – I think Kidd should play him until he fouls out.
Yeah, that's why he left him in with 4 earlier. Yeah. And I think one of the announcers said, yeah, he's going to have to learn how to play with 4 fouls. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. So leave him in the game.
It's fine.
I'm totally fine with it.
The Mavericks need him, but if they don't have him, they have other options. And so it's like you don't want to do the holding him back thing and taking him out where you're concerned about the fouls, because he's going to have to play. Like, he figured it out at Duke. He's probably, I don't know enough about his high school career. He's probably so physically dominant that it didn't matter. But if he figured it out at Duke, I don't see why he can't figure it out with NBA coaching.
Yeah, everybody that watched him play, like that either jumped into the college season last year halfway through or watched him play from beginning to end said, yeah, once he was fully healthy from his injury, had an actual point guard running the team, and kind of knew what he was doing on defense, he was the best defensive player in college. So that's kind of all I need to know. And this game kind of confirmed my bias, because we couldn't really get any boards, but Gobert and Cat, they weren't scoring in the paint. When the game started, they were scoring because they were hitting threes and we weren't.
Cat was also cutting to the basket like he's an off guard. Cat was like getting these like handoffs in the middle of the paint. It's like no one's going to take a charge from that guy. They had the Wolves offense was cool.
Yeah, and that was without Ant. So like imagine you've got that. You've got them running like DHOs for Karl Anthony Towns from 23 feet out. He's charging at the rim. And you've also got Ant like as a kick out option on the other wing, just hanging out, waiting to get the ball. So, yeah, the Wolves are going to be good. The Wolves are going to be fun. But I don't care about them. I'm not here to talk about them. I am here to talk about Dwight Powell getting thrown all over the place once he got subbed in for Derek Lively. I thought
Is that was new?
No, it's not. But I was like, damn, dude. I just spent the whole summer like rehabbing Dwight's image in my head. Like, you know what? I was way too hard on him last season. They asked him to do a bunch of stuff that he couldn't do, and he did the best he could. And then immediately I'm like, damn, he just got outplayed by like a rookie and a dude that was out of another team's rotation in this game. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel it. I understand why it's frustrating, but I have a dark sensation in the back of my brain that says he's going to end up starting like 25 games this year, and we're all going to be screaming bloody murder.
Look, I'll take 25 over
60. 80. Sure.
Yeah, I'll take 25 over like 60 or whatever. And as long as like, even if Lively is like a Powell type starter where like he starts the game, plays the first 6 minutes, comes out, and then he only ends up playing like 22 or whatever, I can be cool with that as long as he's getting most of his run with Luka. They definitely should have, like you said, been spamming like Luka and Lively pick and rolls a lot more early on, especially when Luka and Kyrie kept shooting and they just weren't making shit. Like
really
I thought that would
wild.
have been a great time to go to like, hey, let's just run simple pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
A lot of ISO early on drove me nuts.
Yeah, people complaining about, oh, well, where's the playbook? Where are the plays? I'm like,
It's
brother,
preseason.
It's preseason. They're not running shit. They're just rolling.
I saw one Kyrie. I see because there's a lot of those the Kyrie Twitter like fan accounts. Where it's just like, and some of them were just like, I saw one just like losing his mind, and it's like it's preseason. Kyrie will get. They absolutely require Kyrie to cook if they're going to win. So I'm not worried about him at all.
Yeah, he missed a bunch of shots that he usually makes.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about
mid-range,
that. I am
shorty.
concerned
Yeah.
about
He's
Seth
great.
coming off of the bench before Hardy.
That's right.
That's gonna be fixed within the first 8 games if Hardy's gonna look like this, because that doesn't make any sense.
That's a good take.
Yeah.
Well, man, you got anything else?
Max, brother, get to working on that corner 3. Other than that,
that man hasn't. I typed this out and deleted it like 6 times because I don't want my tweets to be misconstrued. Every time I see Omax, his thighs. The man has thighs like an offensive lineman. He is enormous. Being, somebody like Xavier said that Lively's a little light in the ass. Omax has the direct different. Like he has a big behind. He's gonna be. I just can't wait. I just can't wait till he develops.
Yeah, I wish Ant would have played because like Ant put on a good bit of muscle from where he was.
That's
during
2
the
large
season
men running into each other.
Yeah, I wanted to see them on the court together because Omax was going to dwarf Ant, and people were going to be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That's right. Because Ant's like 6'4". He's more like Josh Green size. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for hanging out.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, always appreciate you coming up. All right, coming up next, Glenn, who's been waiting a long time. Glenn, thank you so much for waiting. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm trying to settle my reaction. I got too excited about.
That's what this is for. Talk through it a little.
All right, let me talk. I got 2 things, at least 2 things I want to hit up. One, guys, Jason Kidd has a good problem, but a bad problem because all those minutes that Hardy was getting, you do know that they are and Curry are earmarked for Tim Hardaway Jr. Mm-hmm. Those minutes are so The second thing is, they could have stayed home to play a pickup game. I am sorry. And I know it's the first preseason game, and I know I could be sounding hysterical, but man, give Luka the ball and pick and roll all the first quarter and then the second quarter to try to do it to Kyrie. I would like to see them actually run a set of plays that they have been working on, since we have an entirely new ball. First quarter, score as many points as you can. Shouldn't it be the opposite? Shouldn't the first quarter it be about getting the team involved? And then maybe the second quarter and then the fourth quarter, you take over if nothing else is working. I don't like how Jason Kidd, and I said it, not you, I don't like how Jason Kidd is stacking it. I don't want to see Luka play hero ball because what happens is he falls in love with that crap and he doesn't involve the rest of the team. So we have these 4-foot passes between him and Kyrie back and forth in a critical part of a game.
Sure.
I like the players. I like the rotation. I don't like how we are actually setting them up for success in one preseason game. That's just me.
That first quarter was so ugly, though. Like that, I don't necessarily think you're overreacting about anything incorrectly because you're down. It was 11-1 at one point. Like you don't go through a whole preseason or a whole offseason and come out and look that. So it was not fun to watch. You hope they do something different. I advocated a while for what you just said, where they use Luka like a hammer, but later in the game, not early. And they were missing everything. So that was the flip side to that, where it's like, even when Luka was making the passes and they were, doing corner kickouts, like nothing was happening. So we'll see. I mean, they get another chance against this exact same team on Saturday. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a different look, at least.
Yeah, I don't mind Luka being the hammer, I just don't understand the logic of not getting your other teammates involved.
You can't be a hammer the whole game. It doesn't work the whole game. It only works in spots. It's like running the ball in football. When it works, you really are pleased with it. But when it doesn't work, it's horrendous looking.
The second thing third thing is I love Omax, but did you see Dante Exum move on the court?
It was
Did
good.
you just kind of see how he moved in and out and played pretty spot on defense, which I think that's pretty much what they want their wings to do, other than Grant. They want their wings to play D and then shoot. But Exum is a glue guy. I'm pretty sure Omax will be ready. But just in case, I wouldn't be surprised if Exum got some wing minutes because he looked pretty stout.
That's right. He's a big guy. He's not small. And if you're stealing 6 minutes at a time, that's fine. I hope we see it.
Yeah. That's all I have, man. I'm not gonna light the fire and pour some gasoline on it, but I wanted to see a different. The offense and defense look the same. The actual structure of how we run it look the same, and we have so many players now that can switch on defense that it just shocked me to see them come out. We look like the B team playing against the A team varsity.
That's a good comp. They were really sloppy, and that was frustrating. So I understand. All right, appreciate you. I hope you come back.
For sure.
All right. Then last we got waiting down there, we got my man Leo. Leo, what is happening?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Thank you for joining once again.
I'll get straight to the point. I do not know much basketball, but I
know more than you think you do.
But I really just want to watch Jaden Hardy play, and I need someone to explain to me why are we playing Tim Hardaway ahead of him? Because in my personal view, us succeeding this year is getting past the play-in. Like, we're not a play-in team. We're in the 6th seed. We're doing good. If that's all we're going to be, I'd rather focus on the young guys. The way Josh and Hardy played today, I'm going to overreact because it's preseason and this is what we do. It looked good. It looked better than watching.
Josh jump pass was awesome.
Oh my God, with Dwight Powell, yes. That was such a nice pass. And like the fact that it was like a midair adjustment, it's so nice to watch, but like it feels better than watching Luka and Kyrie, which is blasphemy, but it just feels crisp. It feels nicer. It doesn't feel like my turn, your turn ball. And I'd rather have that than watch Tim just bump up shots. And I know he said, and I don't know, his comments at Media Day rubbed me the wrong way, where he was like, our defense didn't play that bad last year. And I'm like, what are you on about? Rebounding wasn't an issue, but we played bad defense.
I know. Tim is not one I would go to for what good or bad defense looks like. So I don't know if he knows.
But other than that, what were your personal thoughts on Lively? Because I read the piece and he's going to have some growing pains to do. But I considering how this might have been like his worst matchup in the league other than Giannis, I mean, you have two really big bigs and he didn't do like a bad job.
I mean, Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, there's going to, Nurkic, there's going to be a lot of centers that punish him early on, and that is just fine. My expectations are that he plays and that he doesn't do stuff that hang his teammates out to dry. Defensively, there's going to be strength, there's going to be timing, there's stuff that he'll figure out. I feel pretty confident in that. Offensively, I need he has to go to remedial screen setting school. It's really incredible how bad he is at setting screens, but screen setting is not exactly a thing that's taught anymore. It's very nuts. That if he figures out how to set and hold a screen, when to release, when to roll, when to slip, which frankly just takes repetition, he's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing. I'm really bullish on him. I don't, if by game 40 he still looks like this, then yeah, sound the alarm. But he was fine today. 5 rebounds in 15 minutes. We have not got a lot of center rebounding the last several years, guys.
And it's 5 rebounds against Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I mean, he did have his shot thrown back in his face.
Oh God.
Once, but I'm like, okay, you took a shot against the defensive player of the year.
Also, wasn't that a goaltending? I'm pretty sure on the broadcast, they said the shot was falling down. So technically,
maybe As that game wore on, I was like writing and doing stuff at the same time because I should be paying attention to my job today, but I haven't. So I saw the shot, but I didn't really pay close enough attention to whether it was up or not. So.
And just the final thing, do other teams hire old players to mentor their players the way we're doing with Lively and Tyson Chandler?
Yeah. The Boston Celtics coach actually had like a bit of he made some news yesterday talking about how he wants Celtic old heads back in the building. So I think it's a good practice because here's the thing that may not be apparent on television. Derek Lively right now is bigger than Tyson Chandler was. Like, he's taller, he's also literally heavier and bigger. And look at how effective Tyson was for X number of years. So I think it's a heck of a mentor. Film school stuff. I think that's something that's going to be very productive over the long haul.
And to you talking about having older players in the room, Tyson Chandler recently did he did an interview with Matt Barnes on All the Smoke podcast.
Yep, we didn't cover it because I was being lazy.
But
no
I really like the comments that they were talking about, like how we were always talking about how Luka really didn't have like a vet that he respected on the team other than JJ. And whenever he left, you felt the void. But even though we don't have that many vets on this team, not like the ones that you'd say, hey, go look at that guy, you respect him. But we do bring in like older players. We do have Shamgod. We have Tyson Chandler, like on the coaching staff around the players to show them the way and to kind of set a precedent for what you're supposed to do in the league.
I mean, it's something. One of the things we're going to get frustrated by as the year goes on is like the Mavericks just have so many assistant coaches. Like, if you guys aren't happy with Kidd, there's not going to be much to say because Kidd will probably say, well, that's that person's job. That said, I do like the idea of pairing kind of younger players up with a mentor. It happens on these teams. So we'll see what happens. I'm still feeling very bullish.
All right. This is to good luck that we have 2 all rookie players this year, and go Mavs.
That's right, man. Thanks, Leo. Talk soon. To those of you, Leo is not 15. I do think he might still be in high school, but that's okay. We are, and that's a hilarious comment. Kirk, is this your kid on the mic? My kid would not be that respectful. My kid is rude. Maybe that's an indication on me. All right, so it's been about 40 minutes. I think we should close up shop. Josh and I will be back a little later tonight if you want to come listen in live. Otherwise, it'll be on your feed at some point tomorrow. I'm probably going to run this show. You know what? I'm just going to put it up now. So we'll see. If you could be sure to listen to the ads and all that stuff. That's how Josh and I get paid. Last thing I wanted to point out to everybody, if you didn't see it, I think you should go to the YouTube channel Thinking Basketball. There is a really good post up about Dirk Nowitzki for all you Maverick old heads that you are going to absolutely love. Thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate everybody's time and hanging out with me. We will be back for Josh and I tonight, then Josh and I on Saturday, but I probably won't do another one of these live streams until Tuesday after the Real Madrid game, and maybe not even then till later at night. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week, and we will talk soon. Go Mavs.